A caffeinated robot. Onyx Coffee Lab is moving from an indoor coffee shop to an all-day AI coffee shop. More on two local robots mixing up the Bentonville cafe scene.
Family farming. A local family is building a new farm to make quite the impact in Bentonville. How sailing the world became tilling the land.
And from an arranged marriage to a happy life right here in Northwest Arkansas. Our downtown conversation features a woman who is making a difference by creating a welcoming community for all newcomers to our area. Welcome to a brand new edition of Downtown Now. This is downtown Bentonville, and this building is the Ledger. It is so very cool. I am Aaron Nolan.
I'm Dana Schlegenhaft. Let's take a second to take a quick trip around one of the most unique buildings you'll see in Bentonville. Hey, if not the world.
Maybe so.
This is the world's first bikeable building. From top to bottom, you can take a bike ride or a walk from the ground floor to the 6th floor. That's where we are now.
We're in the bar area of the 6th floor.
In total, it's 1.5 miles up and back. Yeah, that's doable. You can do that.
Maybe for you, not for me.
In addition to being a cool place outside, you can walk inside, and what you see is something special. Each floor has its own feeling, its own vibe. This is a workspace for companies. You can rent space or just use it for a quiet place to work or grab coffee.
All of the above, from the above, right here at Ledger on the 6th floor. We need to go now to some of the really cool stories that define who Bentonville is.
Now, just down the street, not too far away from Ledger.
I can see it, actually.
Yes, is the Bentonville Square, home to one of my favorite pick-me-ups in town.
Yeah, every time celebrities come to this area, they go visit the square. One of our favorites, Annie Leibovitz, maybe the most famous photographer in all the world, she loves to go to a specific coffee shop. And now Onyx Coffee Lab is shaking things up through a robot. And here's this week's Greater Bentonville Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. Coffee or cappuccino? It's a morning tradition. And now the art of a cup of joe is gaining steam all around the country, including right here in downtown Bentonville. In fact, one of the hottest stops around town is Onyx Coffee Lab.
We were the first business in the Midtown building.
John Allen and his wife Andrea put down roots here in Bentonville several years ago. Now they have multiple Northwest Arkansas locations.
So we've seen coffee tourism explode in general, just like around the country. And so to have like one of those spots as a staple in Arkansas is really humbling and like exciting.
Onyx popularity continues to grow, but a business addition has shown up near the square. One highly over-caffeinated robot, named appropriately by Onyx.
About 2 years ago, we started working with a robotics company to start R&Ding this concept of like, how could we make kind of Onyx's most popular drinks with like true precision, but through some of the new automated technology of some robotics. The physical testing on a cyborg cafe began in 2023 in San Francisco. Now, 2 can be found around our town, 1 downtown, and 1 at the Northwest Arkansas National Airport. Basically, you can order from your mobile phone or order from an iPad when the cafe is closed and still have some of your favorite drinks like made on the spot in a really quality and a kind of artistic way.
While the growth in this drinkable art form is usually seen from the coasts, LA or New York, John and his team knew Onyx would be born in Bentonville.
It was important for us to test it here, and I think to kind of make it its home, to sort of show that Northwest Arkansas is a hub for food innovation in general, and like really try to, I guess, bring that coffee tourism and bring the whole concept of just innovation within food to this area. So it's no doubt cool to have a coffee made by robot hands. But don't think this local business is giving up on the barista. At heart, Onyx is still all about people.
This doesn't become Onyx, and as in like a fleet of robots that take over the world. The main thing is we don't want to put ourselves in any sort of box, but the focus will always be on people. So hopefully we can kind of conflate those two and come out right.
I gotta admit, the robot is pretty user-friendly. Dana, you had the chance to order some of our staff some coffee. It's something else to watch that thing. Not only does it wave at you, it goes and gets your drinks.
And if I can figure it out, anyone can, so you should go give it a try. Get a coffee downtown.
Why not? Just come downtown. It's a great place to be.
So from high-tech caffeine delivery to one of the most tried and true ways to get nutritious food right into local restaurants, one harvest at a time. Just 6 minutes outside the bustling heart of downtown Bentonville, there's a place where the pace of life gently slows. And the sights, sounds, and smells of nature offer a quick escape from the daily grind.
And most of this farm was planned as we were crossing the Pacific on graph paper.
Somewhere on the other side of the globe, while sailing across the world with their children, Joe and Mary dreamed of a future for our community that is more healthy, peaceful, and abundant, inspired by self-sustaining farming communities in places like Fiji and New Zealand.
Mounded up. That's cool. We've always known that farming was probably in our future, but it changed the way we are approaching it and the kind of farming we want to do.
When they returned home, their plans, made on graph paper, grew into Tuckaway Farm, a regenerative farm that feeds, educates, and connects the community to the most basic beginnings of life.
We want families to come out, spend a morning with us, come and see our animals, feed them, walk through the fields, maybe pick your own flowers. I want everyone to be able to experience that, to know what it feels like to put a seed in the ground and to watch it grow and then harvest something from that you get to consume. It feels like a magic trick. Something that happens, I think, inside when you get to see that. It's good for the soul.
The farm serves as a fertile ground with a direct link to downtown Bentonville.
That connectivity to where food comes from is really important to people, and that's why the farmers market is such a wonderful resource for the community, is because you get to meet all of those people and see them in living color and build those relationships.
Tuckaway Farms will also grow food for restaurants like Conifer, Oven and Tap, and The Hive. Partnerships that sprouted by an early visit from Conifer's owner and chef Matt Cooper.
He came out and walked our very meager farm with us and tried our tomatoes and tried our cucumbers and said, "Oh yeah, I want all of those." And that was this moment for us of we grew something that Matt Cooper wants to cook in Conifer. That's amazing.
Whether you're dining downtown or stocking up on veggies at the farmer's market, think of the farm just tucked away from the busy Bentonville Square.
This is a beautiful escape. And to be able to have both within 6 or 7 minutes is so awesome for our community.
Now, Aaron, Joe, and Mary and their family dream of even bigger Tuckaway Farms in the future, a place with education, a place with experiences, cabins, retail experiences, dining experiences, so it'll only grow from here.
Growth is something we know in Bentonville, and we were very fortunate, you and I, Dana, to be able to go to some of these locations. And the property there at Tuckaway Farms, when we were there, not only were we playing with pigs and chasing chickens, it's really a feeling of family, and that's something that carries throughout downtown Bentonville, and we're very thankful for folks like Tuckaway Farms.
And a nice break from downtown sometimes. We love downtown.
Speaking of breaks, I think we have to take a break now. But after the break, we're going to introduce you to one of the coolest ladies in all of Bentonville.
It's an inspiring story of how one woman is using her past to fuel her future by making this city as welcoming as it can be. Our downtown conversation is next. Sapna Ramachandran's story is not just inspiring. It's really a reflection of our community and our collective spirit. It's what Bentonville's all about, and that's today's Downtown Conversation. You and I met for coffee at Onyx not long ago, and I went into the coffee thinking we're talking about being welcoming and inclusive, and then you told me how you got here and the work that you do here, and everything pivoted a little bit because I want to share that.
Yeah.
So let's start from, how did you get to the United States? Not first Arkansas, Missouri.
Right. So I have to take you back down memory lane for a little bit. 14 years ago, I came to the United States through arranged marriage. So I was working in India. I was actually at the peak of my career. I was doing really well, managing recruiting teams. And of course, the next step for Indian families is getting married. So my parents found an alliance, and it was all arranged by the parents, and we got married and moved to a small town called Washington in Missouri State, and that was 14 years ago. So it was what every immigrant woman faces. I was in an extremely confused identity crisis. I felt lost. And I couldn't take the culture shock because I couldn't work here because I was on a dependent visa. You're still getting used to the arrangement of the marriage.
Yes. Is this someone that you had met previously?
No. We talked once the alliance was fixed and the stars aligned and all of the horoscope matches happened. We talked for some time before he came down, and we got engaged, and before we know, we were married. So it was very quick. Yeah. So when I came here, I was not prepared because in my head I'm thinking I'm going to a big town like New York City, but I had no idea I was going into a small town like Washington in Missouri. And I was thinking I knew good English, I could speak, I was okay to communicate, but I was shocked because I couldn't understand the accent of people and they couldn't understand what I was trying to communicate. So overall, I couldn't drive, I couldn't get out of the home, I couldn't make a living on my own, I had to depend on my husband. So, and this happens to most immigrant women. So it was really a huge culture shock. My confidence shattered. Finally, I gave up, and I said within, I think, 4 months, I said I want to go back home to India, and I did.
And you left your husband behind.
Yeah, my poor husband, he was here, but I said I'm done, I had enough. And I did go back, but eventually, a long story short, my parents convinced me to give it another shot. So I did come back almost about 6 months later, and we moved to Springfield, Missouri, which was much better, more inclusive. And and the rest is history.
And then you ended up in Bentonville.
I did. So we lived in Springfield for about 3 years, and then 9 years ago we moved to Bentonville. And when I moved here, in my head I'm thinking Bentonville is so much more diverse. There are so many people from where I come from, so it might be easier for me to make friends, create a social support system. But that was not the case because there is so much population, Indian population in Bentonville, that they end up creating subsets or smaller groups. There are groups of people from north of India, there are people from south of India, and further it breaks down into subsets of people from different states, the language you speak, the traditions you follow. So it was really hard for me to break that and get in.
Do you think people are hesitant or scared sometimes to be curious about other cultures because of maybe how it'll come across?
Yeah. I think the fear of the unknown or the fear of offending somebody by asking some questions, and that's why they try to stay in the safe zone of not reaching out or approaching people. I mean, even just walking up to somebody at the square and saying hello makes a huge difference. It really impacts more than we think it does, but not many people do that.
We're going to speak to your experience and using your experience in your role at Kite String to help others come to this community and feel welcome and feel part of this community. What are those barriers and what can we do to get that conversation going?
First, I want to say in my role at KiteString, I have two important responsibilities. One is bringing more talent into Bentonville. Second is making sure that talent who come down here also feel pride in being in Bentonville, pride about their city, give back to the community. So some challenges that we face, firstly, is to bring that talent here.
Sure.
So when we talk to candidates, as part of my job, where we're trying to bring software professionals to Bentonville to relocate from cities like Atlanta, Boston, New York, San Francisco, you are talking to them about a place that they probably have never heard of. Apart from all the good things like, no traffic jams like in big cities.
Not that many. A couple of maybe
not that many. Not like crime rates or even pollution or how beautiful this place is. But apart from all that, I think the biggest challenge is for them to know about the community itself, for them to know about people. If they have, if I'm talking to somebody from a Muslim country, they ask about, do they have a mosque here? If I'm talking to somebody from India, they ask me if there's a temple, if there's an Indian grocery store here where they can buy their, food. So those are all and there have been many times when we've had to talk to the spouses, sometimes even the children, to talk about the school districts and how awesome they are. But those are some of the hassles really that we face, where bringing them, convincing them to come here itself is a challenge. But once they come here, I think for us it is, of course, we know that they come here and everything changes, they start loving this place. I still get calls from spouses of people I brought down here to say, thank you, we made the best decision to move
We
here.
like to hear that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they've been here 2 years, 3 years, and they just don't want to leave. So that's the impact I think the society has. But to my second point earlier, I don't think my responsibility or KiteString's responsibility ends at bringing people here. Or it doesn't mean that, okay, we brought these people here, now they're taxpayers, now they're contributing to the local economy, so our local businesses flourish, or they're populating the schools. That's not the only contribution. I think we want to make sure they become responsible citizens or members of the community, where they learn to give back to the community and become a part of the community, participate in events and things like that. So to go back to your question, the biggest challenge is to bring people here.
You said participate in events. We're downtown Bentonville.
Yes.
We do First Friday and Farmers Market. I'll pick on our organization a little bit. What can we do better to make sure that everyone feels welcome at our events, they feel represented and heard at our events?
Yeah, I think you're doing a fantastic job right now, because when you come to the square at a farmer's market, you just see the colorful vibe of the place. It's not just one certain kind of looking people. It is everybody, right? And I see, it's not. It's mixed. It's a healthy mix, right? So I see that happen, but I really wish that I would see more interactions happening. Yeah. That is the only thing I feel like we miss.
That was my final question, was just give us one thing that everyone watching can do. And it sounds like it's say good morning at Farmers Market, interact, be curious, ask questions.
Yeah, I think we are a progressive city. But I don't think progressive only means having modern technology or modern infrastructure. I think progressive really means having less walls and more bridges.
Well, I can't wait till our next coffee.
Yeah, same here.
And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Dana. It was great being here.
Coming up, you may think farmers markets are seasonal, but we'll show you one way to get local produce year-round. That's next.
Welcome back to Downtown Now. You know, Dana, we have a great time producing this TV show. We produce some amazing parties as well. But one thing you may not know about at home is we also have a passion for helping small business, including local farmers, and we do that by producing a virtual farmers market.
We do. It's one of our fastest growing events because it happens every week. So say it's an event, it's pretty regular. Every Thursday, families around Bentonville order local produce. Then they head to our offices and they pick up their farm fresh goods. It's that easy.
It really is.
What started only as a handful of orders has grown to dozens of orders each and every week, from local lettuce to eggs to apple cider vinegar. Hey, we smell the bread, locally made tamales in our office. It's amazing. Come smell the basil. It's the best way to eat well and help support local farmers.
Well, and I will say, it's very easy for you at home, but I got to give a lot of credit to our farmers market staff. Dylan does a fantastic job of really putting this together. Stephanie's behind the scenes making sure this works. It's hard work for us, but we do it because we're passionate about those local farmers, about those local makers, about helping small business.
Yes, and the tortillas. Come get the tortillas and the bread and the chips and all kinds of great stuff at the virtual farmers market.
Go check it out. Start at our website, downtownbentonville.org. That is our show. Thank you so much for joining us right here on KFSM. We really appreciate it. And look, at the end of the day, if you have a story that you think is great and showcases Bentonville, email us. It's Dana@downtownbentonville.org or Aaron@downtownbentonville.org. Very easy.
Yep, that's it for us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.